Hello students, welcome to yet another session of political science. Today we are going to discuss about few more aspects of judiciary chapter. The first topic for discussion is judicial activism. So this is a term which is nowadays frequently used, and many people think that this term has revolutionized the functioning of Indian judiciary. So let us try to understand how did this whole concept came into being. See students, you are familiar that the aggrieved person, the person who is suffering, can approach the court of law or can approach the judiciary about the wrongful actions of others towards him or her. So in the same manner, this trend of the aggrieved person approaching to the judiciary had underwent a change in the year 1979. What happened in this year was that there were reports in the newspapers that prisoners were being kept under custody for many long years without any cross checks, and this was also a sort of offense towards the fundamental rights of these prisoners. So when the Supreme Court of India heard about this case, it became very much famous, and this case is known as the Husainara Khatun versus the Bihar case. So this was one of the first incidents of public interest litigation. Now what is the meaning of public interest litigation? This term literally means that many a times it happens that the person who is suffering, the person who has become the victim, he or she, because of any certain reason, cannot approach to the court of law or cannot have direct approach to the police. In such cases, what should be done? The people who are socially active or who want to help others, they can take initiative. Such a person might be from some social organization, he or she might be a social worker, might be a friend to the person, might be a relative. So on the question of helping out such people who cannot help themselves, this public interest litigation can be filed by the other people who feel that that person needs uh, justice in the case. So public interest litigation came into being. Another term used for PIL is SAL, that is social action litigation. Both are the synonyms and both have somewhat the same meaning. So these another incident that took place in the year 1980 was that the prisoners were being kept under custody in the Tihar jail, which is in um, in the Tihar jail. And here what happened, the prisoners were not being treated very well. So one of the prisoner, he somehow managed to write few things, that what the conditions of these prisoners were, or how they were suffering, what sort of food they were getting, or how many hours they were working, or they were not being allowed to bathe or things like that. So he managed a small piece of paper, and then he wrote about his troubles on on that small piece of paper, and somehow he was able to get this paper to reach to Justice Krishna Iyer, and he took an action on this scribbled piece of paper, and this was another example of public interest litigation cases. And he treated that small piece of paper as a petition, as a proper what to say, approach towards the process of law. So the judge has the power that he or she can convert such applications or such incomplete or inappropriate approaches also into a petition. So this is what Justice Krishna Iyer did, and this case is also known as the Sunil Batra versus the Delhi administration case. So from here the trend began that if the aggrieved cannot, then on his behalf somebody else can approach for the system of justice. So this has increased a lot of responsibility of the court of law, of course. Now let us talk about judiciary and rights. When we talk about the working of the judiciary, we definitely talk about the rights of the people, or rather we say that the judiciary is the one who protects the right of the citizens in any of the country. So to ensure this, writs of habeas corpus, writs like mandamus, which were being allowed to the Supreme Court by the Article 32. Secondly, the Article 13 also allows the Supreme Court that it can declare the concerned law as unconstitutional and non-operational if it does not suits the provisions of the Indian Constitution. So the court can declare these laws null and void, and they won't be in action anymore. So judicial activism has of course increased a lot of work for the judiciary, but has also created a very blur line, or you can say a line of suspicion between the various organs of the government, because when judiciary actively starts taking cases into consideration, laws made by the state assemblies, laws made by the legislature, then many a times it happens that the legislature feels that judiciary is trying to intervene in its work. Many a times it is felt by the executives also that the judiciary is crossing the uh, line of separation of powers, which is one of the basics of the Indian Constitution. So in other words, we can say that judicial review means that the power of Supreme Court or the High Courts to examine the constitutionality of any law. If the court arrives at the conclusion that it is inconsistent with the provisions of the Constitution, then they can declare the law null and void. So definitely it is one addition to the responsibility, but definitely it is also an addition to the clashes between the three organs of the government, that is the legislature, the judiciary, as well as the executive. So many a times we have observed that because of this, many controversies in past have also come up. One of the examples had been the Keshwanand Bharti case, which I will be briefing you in the next part of this series. Now, let us talk about the judiciary and parliament. As I told you that there is a very thin line between the working of the organs of the government, and that is called the separation of powers. So many a times it has been observed that this power has been overruled by judiciary. This is what the parliament and executive thinks. Actually, it is judicial activism itself. Many a times through judicial activism, old laws are being compared, old verdicts are being compared, and then new laws or new verdicts are also being redefined. So this is also the part and parcel of this provision of the Supreme Court. So as I told you about the Keshwanand Bharti case, here what happened that the parliament was trying to bring a constitutional amendment so that they can impose the new rules or new laws that they had passed through. Here the Supreme Court intervened and said that Of course, the legislature has the power of making new laws, but definitely our constitution has a basic structure, and even the legislature has no power to curtail or to add on to this basic structure of our constitution. So here the controversy began, and many a times now and then we feel that there is a breach in the privileges of the legislature because of judicial activism. So the legislature has the power to punish its members if they do not follow or do not abide by the rules and regulations. But here a big question arises that if such a case comes into being, that the members of the parliament are not following the law and order, then should judiciary step in, or what should be done about the members of parliament who already are enjoying privileges of being the members? So these are certain questions which are still unanswered and create confusion between the working of the parliament as well as judiciary. So this much only. In the next video we'll be discussing in detail about the Keshwanand Bharati case.